Hi, I'm Brad, and I love Hallmark fall movies.
I'm Brian, and I like Hallmark fall movies.
I'm Dan, and I despise Hallmark fall movies, and this is the Deck the Hallmark podcast.
Hey. Deck the Hallmark, it's his podcast.
Brandon and friends host this podcast.
We hope you like this jolly podcast.
Man, that bit never gets old.
I have a friend who works in PR and marketing at Anheuser-Busch. And she says that they still talk about that to this day.
I would.
Like
That's the sign of a good commercial, isn't it?
They are still just like, we did it.
Anybody bring up the frogs ever?
I mean, I'm sure that's still.
But not like was I. I mean, come on. One of a kind.
Guys.
I want to hear the pitch meeting for that, though.
That was just them walking into the room for 5 years. They would all do that. And
we've done frogs. We've done Bud Bowl. We're out of ideas here, gang.
So how much is this? How much is this commercial going to cost?
$3 million? $3 million? What if we just had people on the phone say what's up, but they kind of like add it out a little bit? Could we get Cedric the Entertainer? Maybe. I don't know. Yo, let's roll the dice. $3 million.
Merry Christmas, everybody. It's Christmas week.
It's not Christmas week. It's not Christmas week at all. There's nothing about this week that's Christmas week.
Nothing?
It's the week of October 18th.
There's a few things about
17th,
that are
whatever.
about Christmas this week.
Few things. The people that ordered the Deck the Hallmark spooky Christmas season sweatshirts, they're arriving.
Yes.
Bri has his.
That's right. There you go.
Good for 2 weeks out of the year.
Man.
And you're ready to go, everybody.
steal.
Congratulations.
It is marathon week, Brian.
That's what I'm saying.
We kick off Christmas movie season here at Deck the Hallmark.
Yes.
Do you know what the thing that we didn't do? You know what? I'm just now getting angry about this. We had time for 11 billion previews. We didn't do our last ranking episode.
Right.
Who has time for it?
Who has time for it? We got to have 3 Christmas preview episodes. We have to have a Christmas kickoff preview episode. We've got to have a Lifetime movie Christmas.
If you want me to pull the curtain back a little bit, Dan,
I'd love to, because I do own half the company. I'd love to hear about this.
I thought about doing a ranking.
Business meeting adjourned.
I thought about doing a ranking episode on Friday instead of reviewing Perfect Harmony. But then we found out that a double-decker wrote Perfect Harmony.
We
I was like,
not do that.
We can't not do that.
Got it.
And so we could do a ranking episode on Saturday instead of the kickoff, but that feels wrong.
Could do it live, right?
Could do it Sunday instead of Lifetime preview number 1, but that feels wrong.
So what, are we just going to rank them all at the end?
We just do it real quick.
No.
And also,
the best of the year is Just One Kiss. Just One Kiss is the best of the year.
But it feels also like, for Brian's first ranking,
he had not seen them.
It should be next year, right? So,
I guess.
Hold your creams. Hold off on your warm milk.
That's right. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And I just want to say this really quickly to give Brian his cookies here. Brian has Brian has taken over the Deck the Hallmark newsletter.
Boy.
And it's been grade A content. And if you're not subscribed, go to deckthehallmark.com. There should be a pop-up.
It's a free boy.
We love pop-ups. Turn off that pop-up blocker.
Yep.
And refresh the page. It should be there. Type it in. Type in your email. You'll start getting those emails. We should probably also figure out another way for people to sign up instead of a pop-up.
I think we could do that.
But it's great, Brian. You're doing a great job.
Thank you,
buddy.
Brian.
Great job.
It's a free boy. It's a free newsletter. You should sign up for it. It's wonderful.
If you like the pod, there's a lot of pod content in there.
That's right.
It's like a readable version of the podcast, which some people,
if you don't like the pod,
if you don't like listening,
but want a newsletter, we can fulfill that.
Speaking of a text version of the podcast, I'll Be Home for Christmas Movies is still available.
Oh yeah.
I went to Barnes & Noble here in Greenville, South Carolina. It's there.
Wow.
Still
Did you sign them?
this year. I should have done that. People would have been like, what?
I'll do it. Don't worry.
But you can get that. And also, Dan, do you want to announce this?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, we're still in the business meeting.
Yeah, apparently, yeah.
Book number 2 from Dan and I is coming out next week sometime.
Yeah, as soon as we get them in, they're going out.
As soon as we get them in, they're going out. We'll put out the link for people to buy it. But it's a self-published children's book straight from the heart.
Straight from the heart.
Called When's It Gonna Be Christmas Again? It's a book inspired by your children and also me as an adult for everybody who's
That's true. Those are the 3 inspirations for the book. My children and Brand as an adult.
That's right.
That's true. We wrote it. It's good for kids. I think if you're a parent, you might really like it as well. You need to get yourself a copy. An easy read.
That's exactly right. So stay tuned to the social medias, to the newsletter, for once the links go live to purchase that sucker. We're very excited about it. It's our first self-published venture, so bear with us as we figure out, I don't know, what we're doing. But we're very excited about it, and the illustrations are amazing. My pal Carissa did it, and she crushed it, so I can't wait for everybody to see it. When's it going to be Christmas again? Book number 2. Big announcement today.
Big announcement today.
Guys, Saturday's coming. This isn't like an Easter bit. I'm not doing a
but don't worry.
Yeah, because Sunday's coming. In this case, Saturday's coming.
Have we watched tennis movies labeled as fall? We have. But Saturday's coming.
Oh, boy.
Have we seen color correction out the wazoo? Yes, we have. But Saturday's coming.
That's right. Saturday is coming. We're going to be live all day.
When you're lost in the wilderness of fall movies and August movies they call fall movies, just remember, Saturday's coming. Amen?
Amen. Saturday's coming. We hope you join us for our Season 5 live stream marathon. We will be kicking the season off by going live at 6 a.m. Eastern and staying live all day long. From here in the studio. Nowhere else. We're not going anywhere.
Nope. We're going to be here.
else. For anybody who maybe heard we were going somewhere else.
False rumor. Those
false rumors.
Lies.
That's fake news.
Can't believe the things you hear on this podcast.
We'll be here.
We'll be here right in the studio because, that's life. But it's going to be a lot of fun. We're very excited about it. So deckthehallmark.com/marathon or just join the newsletter. You'll get another 5 reminders.
I mean, if you don't like if you like the podcast, you should join it. If you don't, maybe not.
Unsubscribe real quick.
If you're a fan of the podcast.
The newsletter is a very specific newsletter for people that like us as people. They want to stay up to date with what we're doing, but they can't stand to listen to this show. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Guys, are you ready to talk about autumn in the city where the fall is there and the leaves are falling everywhere?
Yep.
Dadgummit.
Autumn in the city.
Autumn in the city. October 22nd. It should have been like a New York person. Hey, autumn in the city. Dang it. All right, autumn in the city, everybody.
Saturday's coming.
Saturday's coming. That aired on October 15th, 2022, and it went a little something like this. Meet Piper, not John Piper. Can we just talk? I'm not going to do my John Piper here, everybody.
You're going to save it?
Yeah.
Save that for the newsletter.
Hey, but God... she is moving into a sublet apartment in the West Village.
Classic.
Of New York City, in case you don't know where the West Village is. I think there are West Villages everywhere, so it is important to note this is New York City, where the heat is on. She moved here from Omaha. And her parents aren't thrilled about this. She says, I'm going to go there for 2 months. Got this sublet for 2 months. And during that 2 months, I'm approaching 30. I'm going to finally figure out what I want to do. She says all of this while sketching in her notebook. We then see and meet a fella named Austin, who's getting lunch with his mom, who is making him eat salad like a monster. Piper moved to New York City without a job, which is a bold move, and she goes to a job interview at a temp agency to get temp jobs so that she can figure out what job she wants. Her first job is at a fashion show, which she does not last long at after spilling a Dumptron amount of juice on a dress. Austin's mom is a hotshot deal maker. She basically is the newspaper industry, from what I gather.
She's a journalist.
She's Mrs. Newspaper.
She's a journalist, yes.
Call me Miss Newspaper, please, is what she says to everybody. I don't say that. I would say that.
You lie.
So,
you walk in every day.
You just kick down that door.
So
what's up, Brand? How's it going?
It's Miss Newspaper to you.
I'm sorry.
Every day.
No, that's Hallmark Daddy. For those of you out there.
Short.
So she's a hotshot deal maker. She gets him a job at the New York Chronicle. And he's upset about this because he wants to kind of forge his own path, so to speak. He's also working on a children's book about a squirrel who goes on adventures.
Small world.
Is there a sailboat?
Speaking of kids' book.
Yeah.
When's it going to be Christmas
When's it going to
again?
be Christmas again? Next week sometime.
That's right. Next week sometime.
We are good at marketing. Anywho, she's at the apartment. Austin also is at this apartment because he lives there. And he knocks on her door with a bottle of wine, expecting to see the girl that he has had some sort of relationship with. Wink, wink. Over the last few months, but she's not there. It's Piper. Piper says, "Hey, I have a note for you from this girl. Doesn't want to see you again." So this makes him grumpy, more grumpy than normal. She's happy-go-lucky. He's grumpy-go-grumpies. And they just kind of keep bumping into each other. They're at a coffee shop bumping into each other. They're in the building bumping into each other. They're on the roof bumping into each other. She's leaving him piles of leaves at his door. Doesn't understand why he's upset. He's writing fake articles about why leaves suck. It's all good stuff. She still hasn't found a job yet that she feels is right for her. They get in an argument about jobs and passions and whatnot. Turns out Austin wants to be a children's book author. She encourages him to actually do that, to do the thing that he wants to do, and he encourages her to get a job. She does get a job as an assistant to a Broadway actor. And she ends up sticking with it until she can't stick with it anymore because she gets fired. He ends up taking his kid's book to an agent, and she doesn't hate it. Says, "Hey, bring me back something real good in a couple of weeks." To celebrate the bring me something good in 2 weeks news, he and Piper go on a picnic. And he tells her about the book. She ends up drawing a picture of a squirrel
In a boat. Going down a waterfall.
And it's
okay.
Revolutionary. He says, "This is amazing. Let's work on this book together." He's writing stuff. She's doing this. And they're together a lot, and they're having a lot of fun. He goes to his pitch. She now realizes, I'm an illustrator. He goes to the pitch, and the publisher says, "I like the squirrel. I like what you're doing with the squirrel."
We don't have a squirrel.
We don't have a squirrel. We are going to go in a different direction in regards to visually representing the squirrel in a boat going down a waterfall. And he says, you sure about that? You sure we're going to do that now? And she says, "Yeah, we're sure about that. We're going to do that now." And he says, "Okay."
Sign me up.
So he leaves. They go to a party for his mom. I don't know what the party is for.
Retrospective of her
It's a
career.
retrospective of his career,
Her
career.
Miss
Miss
Newspaper.
Yeah, Miss Newspaper.
Miss Newspaper. That's Miss Newspaper to you. And at the party, he's like, "Mom, I'm sorry that a job you got me at the New York Chronicle, I didn't do well at all, and I embarrassed you, and I, drug your name through the mud, so to speak, Miss Newspaper. But I have good news." And she says, "I don't care about your good news. I just want you to do what I did and do it better than me, basically. So that makes him sad. She goes outside. Piper does, and it's like, hey, no, we got lots to celebrate. And he has had an opportunity or two up till this point to tell her, hey,
yeah,
we're going in a different direction.
You didn't get the gig.
You didn't get the gig. I got the gig. You didn't get the gig.
Right.
And so he decides now's the time to tell you that you didn't get the gig. And this is especially hurtful because she just got a phone call from the art gallery she's been working at that basically the guy running it says, you're not New York standard art. You're not going to make it here, pal. So 1-2 punch, you don't got what it takes. And so she's hanging out. She's trying to figure out what she's going to do. She's mad at our guy over there because of the fact that, he's still going to publish the book without her. And so she goes to talk to Miss Newspaper. Says, Miss Newspaper, you have told me that I need to be my own champion. What does that mean how do you be your own champion when there's nothing in your life to champion? When every door is being closed in your face? And Miss Newspaper looks at her and says,
Saturday's coming.
Saturday's coming. And the Saturday paper's pretty good, but then the Sunday paper. So she says, you got to start kicking down doors. Kick down those doors. So she goes and she doesn't kick down the publisher's door. I would have actually really appreciated that. But she does walk in and says, hey, I don't think you looked at the squirrel picture. Look at it again. And the publisher says, that's not how it works. We always go with an established illustrator. And she said, look at the squirrel again.
She does have a gun in her hand. It is a little bit more.
I got something in my pocket. Look at the squirrel again. And so she goes and she meets back up with our guy, Austin. And he's like, I'm sorry for being a real doofus there. And she's like, no problem. I kick down doors myself. We're doing this thing whether you like it or not. And I guess he's fine with that because they kiss. Fast forward 1 year later, the book is published. Mom is finally proud of Austin and is letting him order his own salads. And they are celebrating the release of the book. And then they kiss some more. And that, my friends, was
Autumn in the City,
where the heat is on.
We did it.
Let's take a break, and we'll be right back to break this movie down here on Deck the Hallmark.
Deck the Hallmark. I'm sorry.
Saturday's coming.
Yep.
We're back, everybody. We're talking about Autumn in the City, the final
still kicks
fall into love movie.
Yeah.
We've been doing this since August.
Literally, the fall season started before Bramblefest. Ow.
Yeah.
On paper, yeah.
On paper. That's the only place.
So let's talk about this movie. Let's break it down with 4 segments. Let's start with the hot take, and let's start with a guy who is giving hot takes. Some may say they are steaming. Some may say they're tepid. Some may say they are warm, hot. Let's see what you brought today. Brian, what do you think about this movie, Autumn in the City?
So this one, I feel like, I mean, the anticipation was so high for most of us for this one.
Was it? Was this a big calendar circler for anybody that, aside from Amy Teagarden, Stan, Bran over there?
Yeah, you draw leaves on this one, on the calendar.
Julie is Mount Saracen.
That's Gowan from When Calls the Heart.
Julie is Mount Saracen. Come on. I live with my grandma. She's not doing too good. Come on, Julie. I'm a quarterback.
I think we got it.
All right, go ahead.
Boy, how to follow? I don't know how to follow that one.
All you have to do is talk.
In the headspace. I feel like though with this one, it relied on our the desperation we were feeling for fall on the screen, and so the expectations and anticipation were super high because it's autumn in the city, y'all.
The heat is on.
Where the heat is on. and it completely was void of any depth or characters or motivation or meaning. And I was really kind of bummed out by this one.
He has gone from liking every movie to saying this movie was meaningless.
Meaningless. It was fall on the screen, which was great, but
Fall in the City.
Fall in the City. The heat was on, but it was like, so what? I don't care about these characters at all. Why is he writing a children's book? He has no business in the children's book industry. Leave that to us, the professionals.
That's right. I was about to say, good save.
Yeah, she was in the city, like something I kept hearing in my head. Something you say all the time, Dan. Like the stakes couldn't be lower.
Yeah, that's right.
Like her parents are they're probably driving to New York to pick her up and bring her back to the family business where she has a secure life. His mom is Miss Newspaper, loaded. He's set for life. There's no stakes at all. So who cares? The whole time I'm thinking, who cares if the book's great? Like they're doing this for fun and that's it. The fall feels were great. Like the scenery, yeah, sure. The Will, I think his name was, one of the cafe owners.
Wow!
Yeah, he was really funny. I liked his whole bit of liking the party planning and all that stuff. But yeah, I was just kind of like, who cares the whole time? But the fall, great. You know, the fall was really nice.
You brought up a question there, Bri, which is who cares? And
oh boy,
who's this? Oh, is it a picture of me? I cared. Cared a good bit, actually. Quite enjoyed it. Had a real fun time. The drawing of the squirrel, revolutionary. The book itself, a squirrel going on fun time adventures, revolutionary. The city during autumn, revolutionary.
Does he know what revolutionary means, do you think?
I don't think he's ever heard the term before. To be fair, Miss Newspaper does what Miss Newspaper wants to do.
Thank you. I love this movie. I thought it was great, and I had a lot of fun. And I think we just watched different movies at different times, Brian. I think that you were. This is You're new here.
Yeah.
You're new here, kid. So I think what happened is you started hearing the hubbub about Brian can't give a bad review, and you decided I'm going to come in hot today and say this movie was meaningless.
Bran is going above and beyond to take the spotlight over the fact that if Amy Teagarden stars in a pile of garbage, he will love it and give it 10 stars out of 5.
She's a big fan of him.
I mean,
remember.
I just have never seen anything like it.
Julie!
If Amy Teagarden, if Julie Taylor
Matthew Saracen
is in a movie, you act like
Not
it is
true.
It is true.
I've given Amy Teagarden a bad
Miracle,
review.
The Christmas Delivered. You
Loved it.
Loved it. The New Year's Eve movie with Michael Rady. You loved
Loved
that.
it.
This one, I don't know. Oh, and then My Christmas Family Tree, which you love.
Very silly.
But you loved it.
I loved it.
Can't escape it.
It's tea time. It's tea time. Dan?
Yeah, so here's the thing is Amy Teagarden and Evan Roderick, I do believe, have great chemistry. I'm glad I got that out of the way because this movie is colossally stupid. Like, dumb. For all the reasons Brian mentioned, no stakes at all, but also you have a terribly mean mom for no reason. You have a woman who is just getting a new job every day just to suck at it on purpose. And you have, I'm talking the bare bones minimum idea of what an artist is, and you have someone who clearly has a passion from the beginning of the movie who just decides that that can't be the answer for almost the entire runtime of the movie. It is the don't make me sing of plots. It is real bad across the board, real bad. Good chemistry. Everything else about this movie was awful. Dumb writing, dumb plot machinations, just dumb all the way around. Not here for it. It had Amy Teagarden, so Brand's on board. Forgive him. This is a bad movie.
Tea time.
It's tea time.
Tea time, y'all.
Tea time, y'all.
It's time for All the Feels part of the show. We talk about what in this movie gave us feels. Brian?
Yep. So definite fall feels, obviously. I mean, you can't get around that. The thing that in this that made me laugh, that I thought was a cool little bit, was when they were throwing stuff on each other's door, the pile of the leaves, the article. I wish they kept that up. I thought that was really funny, and just the friend group in general, hanging out on the rooftop. I will not mention How I Met Your Mother on a podcast about Hallmark movies again, Dan, but vibes of another show or a friend group.
You literally just did.
So, yeah, some feels in there.
It's tea time. Amy Teagarden actually is sitting down to have tea, which
that's true.
The world stops. Meta. I think it's like, why we can't, maybe even. And she gets a speech from Austin. Michael?
No, Miss Newspaper, right?
Yeah, no, but the mom. Yeah, I was gonna say, is it Austin's mom? Is his name Austin?
Yes. Sure.
Miss Newspaper, and she says you got to bust down some doors. She starts pouring tea for tea, and garden, and Amy Teagarden stands up, and she says, "You're not staying for tea," and she says, "I've got some door busting to do." Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. You go bust those doors. Gave me feels. Dan?
It's tea time.
I was very conflicted about Piper and her job situation in this movie, because one of the few bright spots of this whole COVID thing has been people who are deciding they're going to leave work at work and not overwork themselves and work the job they're giving and no more. Mostly millennials have started to have that feeling, and I appreciate that. I hate the idea that you have to work a terrible job and you work way too many hours just because it's instilled in you that you need to do this. And so part of me was like, awesome, don't work a job you don't like, find your passion. But the other half of me was so frustrated with the fact that clearly she loves drawing, but decides instead to work a day and quit or get fired everywhere. Like, I get it. Don't work a job you don't like, but stop showing up and ruining people's days. Do you know how much it hurts for somebody to do a job badly one day and then leave? I think it actually makes the company worse if you do that. So I was conflicted on her job search, and it also made me angry yet proud at the same time. That's what I've got.
Let's take one more quick break. We'll come back with the Wait, What, and the What. The Hallmark here on Deck the Hallmark on WTTT.
Tea
time.
You know what's sad is WTTT worked really hard to match their call sign up with Amy Teagarden's movie, and we still somehow, I don't even know, what did Brian say?
Got the tablet.
What?
The
tablet.
Yep.
Yeah, the tablet.
You went with the tablet.
Yes.
Yeah. That was some probably a marketing intern, a temp employee maybe.
Yeah.
Who wrote that
temp.
one.
That's right.
And ruined the day.
Temp for tap. It's time for the Wait What. So far show we talk about what this movie made us go, wait, what?
Can mine be that comment?
Bry guy?
So Austin talking about his book with Amy Teagarden there. He said and when she drew it all out, he said, I imagine this as a summertime book. And I practically stood up off my couch screaming at the television. I mean, you say acorn, all I think of is fall. That's it. There's no other season you're going to have a book with acorns. I mean, come on. Get it
together.
Yeah, get out of here. So, and then he dumped, there was one other, he dumped, he spilled his hot dog that was covered either in sauteed onions and peppers or mustard. He dumped it all over her notebook. And then a second later, it was all gone. And then the next scene, he's looking at the page that he covered with hot dog, and there was not a speck of grease.
It's magic. Yeah. Magic.
Is that it?
Yeah, I'll stop there. I have more, but I'll stop.
This is, I think, the quickest.
It's the quickest Wait What of all time. You and I couldn't stop laughing.
The movie kicks off. She's like arriving in the city, and this like jazzy tune is playing, which is supposed to be like a,
Sinatra kind of bit,
like New York, but it's not. And so what we get, this is the first line of the song to start the movie, is feeling like a top dog. That's the New York vibe. It hit me funny.
Hit that funny bone.
Feeling like a top dog. That's the New York vibe.
Of course it is.
People in New York, they feel like top dogs. And you might be asking, people have been asking for generations, why does everybody in this area kind of seem like they're top dogs?
It's a New York vibe.
It's the New York vibe.
That answers that question.
Any other stupid questions? Right?
It's the New York vibe. She is at a some sort of one of her jobs is she's a receptionist. And she keeps like hitting the button and saying, so-and-so publicity, please hold, please hold. I don't think she was actually answering the phone or putting anyone on hold, which I think is problematic because she keeps doing it, but the phone never stops ringing.
No. She can't find that button.
It never stops ringing.
I don't think she ever actually put somebody on hold. But you might be asking, was she feeling like a top dog? And I would argue, yes.
Yeah. Why?
It's the New York vibe.
Makes sense.
Her parents call her a few times.
This is a great one.
Always in the car. They are always in the car.
And parked in a parking lot.
Which I appreciate if you're going to take a call.
Yeah, of course.
In the car, of course, you pull over. For my mom that's listening. That's what I do.
There's no way to talk on the phone and
no way to talk.
Not
these days.
No one's ever done it.
Her parents are always parked. They're always in the car, and they're always on the phone with her. And I would argue they don't feel like top dogs. And you might be asking.
It's because that's more of an Omaha vibe.
They're in Omaha.
That's right.
Why. They don't feel like top dogs.
They don't.
She has her birthday in her calendar as benchmark birthday, which I just found to be funny. And I just want to give a shout out to her coffee shop owning friends. She leaves her suitcases with them when she gets she decides I'm going to go, kick down some doors or whatever. What do they do with the suitcases? Do they bring them into their shop? Do they put them behind the counter? No. They leave her suitcases right on the old sidewalk of New York City.
That's right. That's right. The good news is, Brand.
What's that?
Is that it's New York City. And if you are from like a different universe and didn't know what New York City was and you watched this movie, you would think it was a spacious, semi-populated place with lots of giant rooms, empty businesses, and a lot of people that care deeply about helping you with a menial task on any given day.
It's New York for you.
That's New York for you.
That New York,
they're top dogs.
That New York would fit in great with leaving the bags on the curb because no one would take them. But it was like no one in this movie had ever seen actual New York before. It was wild out there. I mean, no place of business ever has more than 4 people in it. The whole movie. It's impressive. It's impressive to do in New York City. So good for them on that front. As mad as I've maybe been in a while at one of these movies is when this dude goes to lunch with his mom and his mom changes his order to order him a kale salad. He is a grown man. He orders a chicken sandwich. She says, not today. You're getting a kale Caesar salad. Meeting over. Yep. If you change my order, the meeting is over. It's done. No, absolutely not. And to be fair to Miss Newspaper, she's the worst person alive. She's only proud of her son when a book of his is published. If the book had never been published, she's still mad at him. Still. That's an all-time bad mom. It's bad enough you switching his order, and he's 30 years old. It's even worse you're not proud of him until he publishes a book. That's real terrible.
Was your mom finally proud of you, Brian, when you published your first book?
She hasn't talked to me since I put it out, so we'll find out.
Yeah. Oh, you're self-publishing. Well,
it's
call me when you get a real publisher.
Change your name. It's like using a ghostwriter name, right?
Amy Teagarden kicks the radiator in her apartment, and that radiator moves not like a radiator, but like styrofoam. It wobbles a great amount, more than an actual radiator, that's made out of real materials would possibly do this. I clocked it at 48 minutes into this movie. She says, I wonder if this drawing thing might work out. Good grief. What are we doing? And then she's like, no. And then at an hour 38 in, including commercials, she finally says, yeah, I think I'm going to give this art thing a go. You went to, people who go to New York who want to be an actor and they wait tables till then, more power to you. You know what you want to do. People that go to New York and don't know, they just want to be in a big city and have opportunity. Great. But to go and know what you're passionate about and ignore it is fundamentally unsound. To have the wherewithal to say, I'm taking a risk and going to New York, but think that it's too big of a risk to pursue art doesn't make any sense. It doesn't work in this movie at all. It doesn't. can I introduce you to this kid that is prepped to talk about sharks? Boy, is he ready to talk about sharks. She mentioned sharks, and he just so happens his phone wallpaper is a giant shark. He's here for the shark talk. He's ready.
Shark Tank.
He couldn't be more excited about sharks. He's there. He's ready. And then, that's all I got.
It's time for What the Hallmark is Part of the show. We want to know what could have been. Maybe happens a good pleasure with you. Brian?
So I feel like our double-decker Rena could answer this, but do you think you could just walk into a Broadway audition just
There's
off the
no
street?
way.
Maybe,
It's ridiculous.
I was like, that probably does not happen. So that was just one. And the other big one I had was there was a movie poster. They kept walking by this theater. There was a poster for Pants on Fire in the background.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a joke. First I said it was called Pants Fire, so I had to pause and look it up.
Pants on Fire.
Pants on Fire, real movie.
And also that theater says there's a double feature at 7 p.m. every day, and the movie theater is never open even in the evenings. So
yeah.
Is
That's
it real?
New York for you.
Yes. Classic New York.
But I looked it up. So that movie, that was a What the Hallmark that I was wondering about. Why would they choose that movie poster? But I looked it up, and I know you guys aren't going to care about this, but I care about this stuff. That movie, Pants on Fire, was directed by Jonathan Rosenbaum. He also directed Christmas Class Reunion, which we'll be watching this season during Countdown to Christmas.
Wow.
Isn't
That's
that cool?
Really good stuff there, Brian.
Yeah, thank you.
Really great.
Thank you. But I don't understand the connection. Like, why are they using that? Is somebody friends with Jonathan on the crew, and they said, let's throw up his old movie poster? So it's going to keep me up at night. Anybody
it's
knows,
going to bother me
please.
for sure. I can tell you that right now.
We Shazammed a song at the beginning.
Couldn't get it.
If anybody is able to find
Top Dog,
feeling like a top dog, it's the New York vibe. I'd love to put that on repeat for the rest of my life, and so please send that to brand@deckthehallmark.com. But I also want to know, she got a phone call from the gallery guy who loves her, says you're doing great. Here's some commission money.
That's right.
It's great. And he says, hey, looked at your stuff. It's cute, but it's not for the New York vibe,
if you will.
And she hangs up there, and I don't think she ever goes back to work.
And she can make really good money selling art.
Commission.
I don't know how the phone, was that the end of the voicemail, or did she hang up because she was sad? Like, that's pretty dark to just be like, hey, you're not going to make it. That's pretty dark. So just that whole relationship with that guy, I want to know if
she quit that job too, she's awful.
She had to quit the job. She was getting ready to leave the city.
Oh my gosh. Well, it's, to be fair to that guy, her art is not good. I mean, to be fair to him, which does lead me to mine, which is, how did we get to squirrel on a sailboat over rapids? How did we get there? Like, that's the image. Yeah. It sounds like a dare, like, to put it in there. Or like, what if it was about a squirrel and he's in a sailboat on the rapids? Like, I don't know.
Maybe even rapids,
sailboat.
Maybe even little squirrel on Big Adventures.
Big Adventure. What's that sound? Adventure calling.
Man. Yeah. Is that it?
That's it.
We did, everybody. Congratulations. Another great day. Another episode, great or otherwise.
Tea time.
What's But tomorrow, Jax will be here. Tomorrow, and I think she's going to stick around for the marathon.
Wow. So she's staying in town.
But this is, everybody, the last When Calls the Heart episode of the year.
That's right.
We'll be back in 2023 with the rest of season 8 and season 9, and hopefully we catch up before season 10 so we can finally cover this show in real time and reap the benefits of what we've been doing to ourselves.
Big payoff.
Surely there's a little spike there,
something.
right?
Yeah.
Surely. Who knows? Until then, may we be the first to wish you a Merry Christmas.
Deck the Hallmark is the That Sounds Fun podcast. It's produced by Tracy Nillis Name. It's recorded live in Greenville, South Carolina. For more information on Deck the Hallmark, you can go to deckthehallmark.com.